Hello everyone, welcome to a new video for Bitcoin price prediction based on Elliott Wave analysis. This is the indicators analysis for Bitcoin. We're gonna first, before starting with the indicator, as a reminder, with our possibilities here on the daily, what we have, of course, and based on your comments as well, I'm gonna reply for some of them here in this video. So basically, many of you asked me to keep, of course, tracking an ABC expanding flat here, because they think that yes, it is still very possible. But I'm saying that despite that the price bounced back above the 1.618 here, we cannot yet still consider this because of course we didn't finish a structure in 5 waves. So even if you bouncing right now a little bit around the 1.618, that doesn't mean that this possibility is still valid, because you need 5 waves, yeah, and the 5th waves has to reach therefore lower prices, in case of course that we are in a wave C. Plus we cannot really consider here a 1 2 3 4 and a 5, because of course this is not a wave 3, it is an expanding diagonal which is not allowed. So we cannot consider 1 2 3 4 5 again, I repeat. Therefore making of course we're not gonna wait until that far to go lower to say, oh, it's invalidated. So structurally already it says it is invalidated, therefore I'm not gonna of course follow this possibility anymore. And anyway, once we break the 1.618, it was of course our second priority scenario here is the WXNY, which is currently working still perfectly and inside the target zone as it was supposed to be, especially that this is a wave C expanding diagonal here, of course, meaning A, B, and a C correction, which it cannot refer to any kind of a wave 2 here based on the time. Therefore, you cannot consider 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a second reason which make it a wave B or a wave X, and that means, of course, we are in a potential ABC or a WX and a Y. Now, in this case, breaking the 1-to-1 fib level there at 52K265, that means, of course, something else might be unfolding here. We're going to switch to the third scenario in priority, which is, of course, very, very deep correction there. Because if the price continues to drop, this might transform to a wave 3. What does it mean? It means, of course, rather than being in an expanding flat here, wave C, it becomes wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. And of course, you still have 1, 2, therefore 4 and a 5. Yeah, so 1, 2, 1, 2, wave 3, 4 and a 5. 4 and a 5 might be, of course, the next possibility in a wave A, and then having a wave B, and then a wave C, of course, as a zigzag, finishing exactly on time. Of course, the time taken from the start of this impulse wave 1 to give us, of course, the requirement time here around June and August 2027. So this is the deepest correction that it might have here for Bitcoin, and hopefully not, of course. I still believe in this correction right now, and I'm tracking this one, because this one, even it can transform to a 3 ways down, 3 ways up, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is also the time required for this correction to finish as a 1, 2, and then pushing for higher. I still believe that Bitcoin is going to preserve this area, the stronghold area here, hopefully. And of course, the 50K, I would say it will be hard a little bit to break it. But yeah, we'll see if this is going to happen. I believe that this might happen. And a shallow wave 2 has to reach at least anyway the 0.38 fib level, which is the minimum requirement taken from the wave 1 here to the wave 2. Minimum requirement when you have, of course, a wave 3/3, which is the case scenario. And I'm looking for a shallow wave 2 because Bitcoin characteristic is always providing a shallow wave 2 before the wave 3/3, which is the most explosive and impulsive wave that we might have in the next bull run, guys. So these are the possibilities, these are the explanation, and yeah, many comments mentioned that I'm two-way bullish, and that I'm looking already like for something very bullish. No, I'm not actually. I estimate the situation step by step. I did not even confirm anything bullish yet. And I always, when there is a confirmation for bullish, I make it, of course, very clear in the title, bullish trend confirmed. So I never confirmed yet, bullish or bearish, but of course there is a potential higher, of course, for bearish to continue toward the downside, even in the WXNY until we reach the 52K, because you might transform here into double 1-2 rather than being in 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5, because this is a very long wave 5 extended. It can transform to double 1-2 here, and then having wave 3, then wave 4, wave 5, 4, and a 5. And someone also asked me about this in the comments. There is a possibility that this is a wave 4, and then, okay, what is, I mean, okay, it's already there, buddy. Okay, so it's already there. It is a wave 4. I mean, you have to try to catch up a little bit with most of the videos, because I try in every video to make it sure to deliver all the scenarios, but it is there. A wave 4 is there. Okay, so yeah, I don't know. So let's start with the indicators analysis. Of course, we're gonna start with RSI here and MACD. So for both case scenarios here, RSI and MACD, of course, we in the RSI we are above the center lines, the same as for the MACD. So that is a good signal for bullish. The RSI did not yet reach also the overbought area, which of course also showing a potential of an impulse here and continuation towards the upside before invalidation. So that is good. Probability is high, of course, to reach the overbought area on the RSI. For the 1 hour chart, MACD as well is still, of course, in a open line here for the signal line and the MACD, and building some momentum for bullish here. So that's nice. It's a nice start, which it might, of course, unfold a wave 4-5-4-5 as we are expecting on the very micro level here. Yeah, so we are in double 1-2, wave 3, 4, and a 5. 4 and a 5 is exactly what we would like to see. So for the 1 hour chart, I would say higher prices are expected still, of course, to push a little bit higher here on the 4 hours chart. We have also the RSI getting out of the oversold area, very, very aggressive one. And of course, we are in the middle or the center line here for the RSI, which is, of course, would be a good signal once we break it, because if we break it, it might, of course, continue for higher here for the overbought area on the 4 hours. Especially that the MACD is still open here for the MACD line and the signal line building a high momentum here, higher than the previous one. That means, of course, yeah, very likely that we push here for, of course, something higher as an impulse. That would be nice, of course. Then, okay, we can say that the direction of the market is set towards the upside here as double 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5. That would be great. On the daily, for the daily as well, we get out exactly from a very aggressive oversold area here on the daily, guys. And remember, when Bitcoin hits the daily, most of the time it shows, of course, a bullish trend directly. And as you can see, this in the history before, where we saw, of course, this pushing for higher again. Now, the last push, it was not really bullish. It was a very, very corrective, knowing that it went directly to the overbought area, and then pushing down again to bring us one more time inside, of course, this oversold area, which it can be, of course, something right now pushing for higher again to bring us in a bull run, probably finish WXNY in case, or a wave B. Don't forget the wave B, guys. So we have potential A, B, and a C as well can be a possibility there. It can be the wave B there for the daily in case, of course, this will unfold something very high, and then pushing later on for one more, of course, over sold area here, and then pushing for a new bull run. So for the daily, I would say as well on the MACD here, we are watching, of course, a momentum slowing down for the bears. And we would like, of course, to see this momentum continuing to increase for the bulls, and getting, of course, a bullish cross here to make sure that we are bullish in a bull run. But I think this will not happen totally. I think that it might, of course, come back somewhere to resume, of course, the correction, guys. So because the correction, the timing is still very shallow for it, I don't think that we're gonna run directly in a bull run from there. Unless if it was an expanding flat, of course, but unfortunately the structure doesn't allow it yet. So we'll see. We'll see, of course. It can be WXNY finished as well. We'll see as well if this is going to follow up. Yeah, so this is regarding the daily. On the weekly as well, we are looking here at a oversold area for the weekly. And for the weekly, that is very, very important to watch, because the weekly, normally the weekly happens only before a bull run. Okay, on the weekly, this is a bull run, a new bull run from there, and of course a new bull run from there. And currently we got a weekly RSI. That means, yeah, very likely even to get a bull run, finish WXNY also, or an expanding flat somehow. But I think that the structure is not, of course, perfect yet. But yeah, I think that this is a very nice indication for the weekly, since we took, of course, the RSI overbought area for only for the bull runs. So I would say very, very likely position here for Bitcoin to push for higher for a new all-time high, finish WXNY, or an expanding flat. In this case, I have to go back for an expanding flat, of course. Somehow, yeah, there is a problem with it. It might be even taken as all of it as WXNY. There is a possibility. I talked about it also, but it's too early. Yeah, like it's 3 waves down, 3 waves up, 3 waves down, and then pushing for higher. If the market wants to push higher, of course, very, very fast here. Yeah, so this is a possibility as well here for Bitcoin. The RSI and here on the weekly is a very, very important signal, guys. Okay, it's a very important one, because we saw this only when a bull run will unfold there. Okay, so we'll watch and see if this time it's gonna work as well. Now the weekly for the MACD is still open, of course, for the MACD line, and the signal line is still open, building again bearish momentum. So we have to be careful with it. Hopefully that it doesn't continue, and continue, of course, to build something, of course, for higher. Hopefully, we'll see that. Yeah, so this is regarding the MACD and the RSI. On the KGT for Bitcoin, for the 1 minute chart here, we can see the bearish signal is still, of course, trying to pressuring the price there. However, because I see, of course, something impulsive unfolding, it is very likely that the price takes the high. Once you take this reference point, this high, this might transform to something as invalidation, leaving the bullish there, working perfectly, of course, as a potential here divergence almost. And then pushing for higher wave 5, 4, and a 5 again, of course, to finish up our impulse here in the lower time frame as a double 1 2. By all means, I will go to the 15-minute chart, 1 2 1 2 3, and then of course can be a finish here 1 2 3 4 5, and you have another wave 4 here, and the final wave 5 is unfolding right now. However, the pressure that we see right now on the KGT is, of course, probably to be invalid in case we take the high. And if this happens, that would be a great signal, of course, because the next signal that we get in bullish here, it might be the wave 2. And a formation of a 1 2, and then pushing for higher. By all means, of course, once we finish here the wave 5, you're gonna finish, of course, a wave 1. Okay, by taking the high here, you're gonna finish, of course, a wave 1, because you finished 1 2 1 2 3 4 5 4 and a 5, wave 1, and then wave 2. And here we might get a bullish signal also on the KGT, and that means, of course, if we see a signal of strength, this is my confirmation, of course, to start to come in, and my total confirmation, 100% confirmation, is taking the high over there for Bitcoin. So yeah, so this might be, of course, at least an ABC, a large ABC, or of course a 1 2 and then 3 4 and a 5. And don't forget the ABC, large ABC, can be, of course, our scenario. Yeah, so for an A, B, and a C. Yeah, so we'll see that. But basically, I'm looking for higher in this case, of course, for a Bitcoin as well, guys. Yep, so this is regarding a KGT. So it's a nice signal. I would like to see it, of course, invalidated for the bearish. On the 3-minute chart as well, we see, yeah, it's a little bit more pressure, of course, in the macro level. We see double signals there. So the bears are still trying hard here to bring Bitcoin down. But yeah, hopefully not. Hopefully we get invalidation, guys. And when we push down, we get a new a new bullish signal, because currently on the 3-minute chart the bullish is invalidated and double signal for bearish. So we gotta be careful with it, okay? Somehow KGT don't mistake when it gets double bearish, okay? Especially on the 3-minute chart, that is of course means something, okay? So unless now, of course, we're gonna take the high, I believe, but double bearish signal might of course bring us down unless we get of course a bullish signal as a wave 2, again, as I mentioned in the 1-minute chart. So hopefully this will happen next, because this will be my confirmation as well for Bitcoin to push for higher prices. Yep. So the last indicators we have here are the EMAs here. So starting with the weekly, the EMAs, as you can see, we have touched the 200 here, and we have retraced above it directly. And if you have realized that the 200 can be broken normally in a bear market, like the last one where we broke it, but it wasn't so much deep. But of course, once you push above the 200 again, that means of course something bullish is unfolding. This might be the case as well. The same of course happened before here, taking of course the low of the 200 EMA here and then pushing for higher again. The same as well in this area. We took it twice and then we push higher again. So I'm expecting the same here, that we push for higher again. Now it can be that we can get the wave C, ABC here, and the EMA pass by it again, of course, and then pushing toward the upside here. Therefore, I'm expecting that higher possibility, it's a shallow wave 2. Whether we are done and finished, we push for higher, or a shallow wave 2 and then we push for higher. The deeper wave 2 that I mentioned, A, B, and a C, something like this, I doubt it. I doubt to see the EMAs on Bitcoin push for lower like that. Okay, this has never happened, of course, in Bitcoin yet, and I doubt that it might happen. So basically, we are looking, of course, for the EMA maybe to rebound somehow like this, okay, and then start the bullish again. Okay, so, and the price here, of course, might still get this before we push for higher. Okay, so the EMA here on the weekly for the 200 is very, very important to watch always, because it signal, of course, a bull trend, definitely. For the daily EMA, of course, we're still here in the bearish cross. It can be, of course, still open, and it can still, of course, pressure something toward the downside unless we start to see the bulls getting in, of course, touching the EMAs again and then turning them into something bullish later on. So it's going to take a time. Maybe it's going to be ABC again and even pushing for higher later on. But yeah, hopefully that the price push back and touch, of course, those EMAs. Because yes, they look aggressive, honestly. With the bearish cross, it might repeat the same thing here. So yeah, we'll see, guys. Finally, on the 4-hour chart, also the EMA for this wave there are still open and very aggressive with a bearish cross. So we gotta be careful. It might be also that the price just touched the EMAs and pushing down again. It might be, of course, also, as I mentioned, yeah, it can be the 4545 here, yeah, continuation for this 4545, and then pushing for higher potentially later on, meaning still, of course, WXNY before invalidation of the WXNY at the 52K. So don't forget, this scenario is still very, very likely and possible. Of course, it reminds us here, the EMA, it reminds us with the potential 112344545. Okay, on the 1-hour chart as well. Okay, the EMA start, of course, here we are entering the EMAs, the 100, but still, of course, yeah, facing a lot of troubles here. Yeah, we have two signals of bearish on the KGT there, pressuring the price, and we see, of course, how much the bulls are struggling here. But yeah, all what we want is to finish a wave 5 there, wave 1, 2, and then 3, 4, 5, or at least an A, B, and a C here to recover a little bit for Bitcoin. Yep, so these are the possibilities and the indicators, the analysis for Bitcoin. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your likes and comments. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.